Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Vampire the Masquerade YouTube experiment, New Serum by Night. Our scene begins in the bowels of New Serum, beneath the crypts and twisted corridors of the wine cellars of the Odyssey Theatre. The first domain of John Stanhope, Ventrue Primogen. John has not left these familiar catacombs in many weeks. Plagued as he is with his own shadows, his beast riles within him. He is barely a man at some points, more a shadow, lurking around the dark corners and edifices, finding the most secluded and caked in darkness spots, wallowing like a statue standing perfectly still, trapped in his own thoughts. In his brief moments of lucidity, he hurries towards his labs, testing on himself, poring through the medical journals and books he barks orders at his conditioned servant Jason to fetch for him, making new melodies and concoctions of medicine and vitae to control his mental state, with varying successes. He has slipped in and out of slumber. He fears that torpor is coming upon him, raging against the need for sleep. He has been active for too long, perhaps. But there is still too much to be done, just a hair's breadth away from achieving what he set out to do. He is so close, the court is in such disarray, and he's already missed far too much. The opportunity might have been and gone, and he has missed it. It is this he resents the most. That he is trapped down here, dealing with his own demons, while the others plot and scheme, undoubtedly against him. Everyone's always against him. The Ventrue are not much loved, and him most of all. The only thing keeping him together is the small child, Sarah, who he embraced out of a petty respect for his former lover, and now comes to depend upon, perhaps a little too much. John never realized how much he relied on Calliope. Not in a physical sense, but on a mental one. Playing the role of lover, of romantic interest, of charming gentleman, grounded him, tempered his ambition, made him remember himself and his behavior. Now that she has left him, he has no such anchor, and the beast riles within him, taking every shred of humanity. It was a simple thing to transfer lover to father. Sometimes he enters Sarah's little 1920s decorated children's bedroom and acts as the schoolmaster, instructing her in math, in academics, in literature and art, taking great pleasure in seeing her learn simple things. The tasks he sets, he makes sure she does with exceptional tenacity. The poor child's will has been completely stripped, conditioned as she is, John does not wish for a willful child. He depends on the relationship too much to be able to pretend to be human, to be a father, to be a doting, spoiling father, or a strict taskmaster. It's the only thing keeping his humanity in check, reminding him what it was like those many years ago. But it is not a sure thing. He can feel his mind slipping. The isolation hasn't helped, but he dare not visit the city. Not in the fragile state he is in. The visions, nations, the catatonic mental lapses are appearing even when he is awake now. Images of devouring all, throwing up bones, creating some synchronym of life he does not understand. Someone had cursed him. It was the only explanation. He is Ventrue. He couldn't be going mad. It wasn't his fault. It never is his fault. It's always the others, always them, always resenting, always jealous of what he has. Well, it's about time that they got what was coming to them. In the past week, the visions have stopped. Only the dark whispering of the pretender king is within his head now, and for once the two are in agreement. They will pay. They will pay. It is time to leave these dark cellars. It is time to re-enter kindred society and finally take what is owed to me. It is my blood right after all. John's eyes snap open. He rises from his bed within his study. His limbs are stiff. His skin is pallid and worn. He has not fed in weeks. So trapped within the mind of his own mental palace. Was he sleeping? Did he fall into torpor? Or was just his ability to remember eroding, being taken over by his beast, like so many things? He strides towards his laboratory, takes the latest concoction of antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, beautifully crafted within a delightful vitae. Geoffrey had been busy. It is time to gorge. And he drinks greedily, lapping up his entire supply, refilling his cheeks with life, sating and calming a roaring beast, until he can start to remember what it was like to be just John again. It's a fainting feeling before the gnawing hunger begins, but not a hunger for blood. No. He is Ventrue. He has been inactive for too long. It is time to satisfy his more base need, his hunger for power. He straightens, grabs his not-needed cane, smiles, a sickly, sinister smile, and walks out into the night.